Hello, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. This is Travis Simulance Hours, jumping into a traditional best of 3 Strixhaven Draft on MTG Arena. I've never gotten to play with Extus. There's a chance that changes today, and a chance that it doesn't. We will see how that plays out, but I think it's certainly the pick here. That's an incredibly powerful mythic on both sides. So let's see what we can do here. Congratulations, Rob. I saw that tweet and was very happy to hear that. So we could end up in a black-green deck splashing Extus. Potentially splashing both sides of it. If I wasn't going to take a black-green card here, I don't actually know what I'd take. I guess Revitalize is sort of a combo with Extus. But I could also be Abzan splashing for like a Mortality Spear. That's the only thing I could see that seems splash-worthy and particularly good there. Now here's where we have to ask ourselves what sort of world we're living in. Because Divine Gambit is really quite good. But does my table know that? Sciences would be the pick if we think the entire table can't read. But I'm willing to bet they can read. I have not been able to spin this in best of 3. I could spin it in best of 1. Okay, if this is where we're going, we may very well be in a Witherbloom deck splashing Extus, which I am super happy for. Although, let's take a Pilgrim of Safety here. I wouldn't splash the Woe Eater, but we could still conceivably splash a Mortality Spear, and I need to see which direction we're going. We're certainly doing Abzan things, is my guess. I suppose I could find myself in Lorehold things. But it would be a pity not to play this. I guess we could still consider splashing the other side of it. But I'm thinking this looks a little better than the other, unless we continue to see things for here. Yeah, my guess is the table does not value Divine Gambit correctly, which doesn't surprise me. A lot of people don't. Because now all of a sudden Tend the Pest is starting to look better with the Woe Eater. Walk me through this. Okay, there's our Environmental Sciences. Pretty happy to pick it up here. Because we're going to likely splash something. I don't know what yet, but we'll be splashing something. I think I need to see what wheels. Because this was the stacked Witherbloom pack. So what do I get back? I don't want double tendies. Unless I have like 5 Woe Eaters or something. Was this the pack that had all the Witherbloom cards? I'm pretty sure it was, and all of them are gone. I mean, there's too many for literally all of them to be gone. But a lot of them are gone. I'm thinking about Campus Guide versus Spectre, and I think I'm going to take the Spectre. It's just a better card. Okay, it was this one that had all of the stuff. And there was a lot of good stuff there. So close. All right, I've already got a bunch of 4s. We take the past summonings. This is the pack that had the Gambit. It didn't wheel, which I think means we are looking at Witherbloom Splash Extus and might end up playing this dude. Tangle Trap for the size board is not bad. This Divine Gambit did wheel, so okay. That's a thing that's reasonable to wheel. So what are we doing here? Because I want to play a deck with 2 Gambits in it. I don't need the second Spear. We could already splash the first one pretty easily. Spear is better than Gambit? Sure, but like these went all the way around the table. Doesn't this mean that white is at least somewhat open? I guess you people are thinking that like drafters just don't respect this card. I think I should be taking the Guiding Voice, but I'll take the Spear. What if? No, I was thinking about the voice too, Wallet. People don't understand how good Divine Gambit is. I think I like the Cultivate now. Okay, I can see this deck going somewhere, and it doesn't need to go white places. Although it still, in theory, could. Like, there's a chance we're just a Silver Quill deck. The Blood Researcher has me thinking maybe this is a direction to lean into. Although I do very much like our first Learn card. And this deck would also be quite interested in a Witherbloom Campus. Seems worse than what? We've got 800 ways to gain life so far. We're probably going to find more. Yeah, I'm on the Blood Researcher. Then Fractal Summoning? I don't want that. We've got Field Trip, Hunt for Specimens, and Blood Researcher. I think I like the Hunt. I don't have a lot going on early game. And with Extus, this could be particularly powerful. I'm fairly happy with where we're going now. There's our top end. I have Rise, but if we're thinking of splashing, the environmental sciences off of Rise is kind of pretty late. Gambit was just as good in Kaldheim as it is here. It's funny, what may actually be open is Lorehold, but it kind of doesn't matter because we've opened what we've opened. Because black is obviously not open. Like, there's only a flunk left in this pack. Leyline Summoning will do about the same thing Fractal Summoning does in this deck, although I get your point. It starts in your sideboard. Vexed understands how good Divine Gambit is. I really don't understand this draft, but if you start looking at maybe taking out some of the green, I think our deck gets better. I can't quite, yeah. If Guiding Voice is wheeling, I'm supposed to be doing this. Because something like this all of a sudden looks pretty good to me. We get 2 Divine Gambits. I get a Stonerise Spirit I can play early. I get a big... This is essentially the same thing as the Leyline Invocation. I can still cast all of this. I've got 2 Pilgrims. Spirit Summonings is wheeling. Let's just do this. If they want me to play a controlling Silverquill build, I'll do it. Multiple Froggos. I think sadly we're probably not in a Cody deck. But we could use a good 2, and Killian's like, what's up? Certainly don't mind a Mage Hunter's Onslaught. I would almost splash for this Deadly Brew if it wheels, but I don't think it will. They work great together. You use the one that you've drawn. Yeah, I'm thinking we might splash 1 Spear, but if it continues like this, we won't need it. But if we're already splashing green in the Brew Wheels, it's an interesting way to get back Extus, and it's a lot of value with the Pilgrims. Then there was this pack. I'm starting to see how our last opponent just ended up in 3-color stuff deck. No, you're not thinking of it exploded. That's why I passed the Cody. I think it's expanded for us here. That's pretty good with Killian. The summoning seems to be coming, and if I need to play something like Elocution and Stonerise Spirit and even Unwilling Ingredients, we can do that. Killian seems alright. I wouldn't say no to a dueling coach either. Yeah, this is not an Asmer microphone, and I apologize to the YouTubers. I do have to have a snack in the afternoon or I'll get really grumpy. And I'm trying to stack up and record extra YouTube videos because I'm going to be out of town at the end of next week. And it occurred to me if I do 2 a day and just schedule them, there can still be YouTube content going out. That Reconstruct History is arguably a better splash than the Mortality Spear. Actually, I don't think it's arguably a better splash. I think it's obviously a better splash. It also means we'll have the red side of this turned on if we want it. We can play Defend the Campus. Our early game's a little lacking. But that may be a position where we just jam these and that's our early game. There's so many cards that I want, but I think we take the Lash. We end up with a pretty low creature count. How in the world does this feel greedy? I've got a ton of good instants and sorceries to rebuy, plus an artifact. That's the deck that card's good in. I think that puts us here. Cody shouldn't have wheeled, but nothing we can do about it. 1, 2, 3. I just moved those over, like no way I'll need them anymore. I kind of want the Eager First Year. I kind of want the Campus Guide. There's a lot of cards I kind of want here. My deck's not quite finished. I need to take the Campus Guide. We can't play Cody in this deck. It's just not reasonable. Hey, we can play that. I don't think we're a Cody deck. But I think we're pretty happy with where we ended up. This may look weird because it's not like the normal decks that I draft, but these cards will work quite nicely together. This gives us 9 black. We can probably hit the Unwilling Ingredients early. I mean, this is kind of this is sort of a Silver Quill control deck shuffled into a Silver Quill aggro deck. But even if nobody recognizes how good this is, that just means I get them for free. That's great news. The Reconstruct History also means that we can play the backside of Extus if we need to. Which I super dig. I wonder why there wasn't a lesson like Introduction to Reanimation. 2 colorless, 2 black, return target creature from your graveyard to your hand. Would that have been too good? I would want an Introduction to Reanimation. Yeah, we even got stuff to sacrifice to it, so I think it's a kind of a... Obviously, we go into Mardu here. And sorry for anybody with disturbed by minimal crunching, but I'm almost done with chips, so you don't have to worry about it too much longer. That's why she used the quotes. All right, chips are done. We can focus on Magic. But they were good chips. I'm trying to decide if I want to kill that or not. I don't think so. If they've got a mage duel and kill my Spectre, they probably were going to have more creatures anyway. It'll create a value engine for them over time. If I had a Lash of Malice, we snap it off, but the way this hand is developing, I don't really have much to do here. They're not even really fighting the worms, are they, Vel? That might be worth killing now. Yeah, it gets me in for at least 1 point of damage. Potentially more if they want to block this. That's a lot of wrangling. I do not enjoy salt and vinegar flavored chips. They are not for me. It is okay if they are for you. We had a lot of pretty good stuff to get with this, if I remember correctly. Let's go peek. We could Expanded Anatomy and hit him right back. That does make us weak to 1 removal spell. We could Necrotic Fumes and get rid of 1 of those things, but 1 of those things isn't going to be enough. I don't like going into Expanded Anatomy in this case, because we'd be so weak to a bounce spell. I do think it may be our only line to win, though. We're incredibly flooded out. The other option would be to loot. That's probably actually better. We're just sitting here flooded. Like, worst case scenario, I've already got something to do with my mana. And they still have to answer this next turn or it will kill them. Well, the fact that we drew another land is like, whatever. Like, we were going to draw it next turn anyway. If the game doesn't end this turn, we'll still get to see what was under it. Yeah, but if one of those spells doesn't kill this, it's kind of like game over, man, right? We could get back Onslaught and Guiding. No, we couldn't get back both, one or the other. But I don't need to do anything here except turn them sideways and see what they do. Do I need to do something now? Well, I mean, obviously we're going to let this resolve. Because getting back the Mage Hunter's Onslaught and playing it this turn is somewhat tempting to me. We could also get back the guiding voice and put the counters on the unwilling ingredient and swing and make them block. Because I don't think this is going to kill them fast enough. I think I like just taking one of these out. Yeah, it's a difficult choice here. But if they can't stop this, we're pretty happy. If they've got something like Decisive Denial, we probably just lose. But like, I want to try to make them less likely to untap and be able to stop this. A Mage Duel would still be pretty brutal, but I mean, we've super flooded. I have, Andy. Although I think it was a Godzilla card for me. Wow, they've got a plan. So we're probably most concerned about the Wrangler. And I can boop that and get another flyer. Which seems pretty good to me, because again, this should just untap and win unless they deal with my board. Second deck we've played against today that was kind of just 3-color stuff. But we haven't seen what all of their fixing might look like. So you're dead? Or you have a Mage Duel as your last card. It's not a Mage Duel. Andy, thank you for the gift sub. Y'all spam some cats for Andy. Am I missing Secret Reach somewhere? Ah, I'm missing Gain 1 life somewhere. Okay. If I had thought about that, we could have exiled this first looking for the other guiding voice. But I still don't think they can kill me, can they? I guess we're about to find out. Thank you very much, Andy. It doesn't matter what they targeted with it. They only had 1 mana. Your secret is safe with me, Andy. Alright, Stream Raiders have been waiting for this battle, but let us not make them wait any longer. I curse these skeletons. And think a little bit about my size board. We should be able to leverage our removal into victories here. I'm thinking about whether I want Tangle Trap. I didn't see Great Flyers, but we did see 2 artifacts. So I think that... Oh, why am I assuming we're green? I was convinced we were a green deck for so long. I was like, oh, obviously we want Tangle Trap. Never mind. Herder. Scar with the kills, Thangarth with the assists, rewards for Blabber, Miklas, Gogo Bronco, Zibby Live, and Blue Mini. Easy peasy. To battle. Yeah, I don't think there's that much we can change. I mean, there's a question of would we rather splash a green card than a red card? But I don't think so, because the red card gives me the other side of Extus anyway. I could sort of see take out the ingredients on the draw, because they're not going to be as good. But I don't want to be playing them anyway. The flying was pretty key. Let's cut an ingredient for the Stone Rise Spirit and just accept that we probably have to play one. I've seen decks that were jamming like Star Pupils and Eye Twitches and 500 of these things, and they weren't bad, but... Yeah, this is the first match and we're 1-0. We could try to go all in on this little fella. I'm not opposed to that. Like, it's a significant amount of damage. Okay. They might have been a little frustrated. Oopsie. We've all done it. Well, at least I've done it. I'm guessing? I'm not entirely sure what they were up to there. Man, hands always look so good. That's so close to good. What are our odds of hitting a swamp with 9 of them? I don't think they're good enough, but if it's over 50%, I'll try it. Well, I've technically got 2 draws, but it's way worse after that. It's so freaking close. I think I still got to send it back. That one's really close. Okay, I suppose best case scenario is we don't need this in the deck right now and we'll just get it later. So this is better, but questionable. Now it's like we didn't mulligan, because we get to keep our mountain. It's great. Really wish they hadn't killed that. Wasn't usually worth a splash, but it was a good card. Huh. Put it on top and then shuffle it back in. That works. I was like, how are we going to deal with that? And the answer is, they're going to shuffle it away for me. That was a bit of an oops there. That's funny because it doesn't have legs. It has wheel. No, it has legs. Does it have legs? I don't know. It appears to have legs that are attached to an axle. There is some shuffling going on for us, so there's some consideration to put Killian back in on the bottom if we'd like, which I don't think is entirely crazy. because I can't get him back with Extus anyway. We've got the flunk play next turn. Don't have to stress about it too much. I could also just get Necrotic Fumes and have that as a standby. I don't hate having it in hand anyway. They're going to make me do it. Why are you making me do it? Because you have a bloody snakeskin veil. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it's an amazing card. Dang it, Bobby. I was using that. I'm going to have to just chump block it until we draw an answer now. Which wasn't originally my intent. Because I'm going to kill that with it anyway, and I need all of my mana this turn to start the Pilgrim loops. I have drafted a blue-white deck before, yes. It played essentially like a bad version of the blue-black deck. I probably want to put some removal spells back in the deck while we're going through these shuffle loops now that I can. The The trick is I want to make sure we can still top deck Reconstruct History and kill this. That probably means it's fine to put one of, yeah, because we would get back to Van Gambit and Flonk, presumably. So I should be fine to put Onslaught back in and have the opportunity to eventually draw it later. Because even though I don't get to get a Plains anymore, we still do get to shuffle. Which at this point, shuffling Hunt for Specimens back in isn't a bad thing. But we're going to have to top deck a removal spell this turn. That isn't one. Which is unfortunate. But the density of removal spells is getting greater. We may or may not need to scry upkeep here. Well, with that Archaic, I kind of can't. But we're on double chomp, which is not a fun place to be. I didn't think I was dead to a swing team, but I might be. This would be dealing me 4. So 2. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I can't block like that, even though I really want to. So this would be dealing me 2, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's not going to work either. I have to chump with this too. I think that means I don't have outs. Yeah, I'm counting the lifelink. This leaves us functionally dead. Yeah, but we're going to take 4 off of this. That's why I was counting it that way. Like, this gives me another draw, but I don't think there's actually a card I can draw that does anything. Because I can rise one of these and play a chump blocker for the other, and then just take infinite, which is not entirely useful. Man, that snakeskin veil really got me there. We're going on the play now, so I don't want to take out the ingredients. I like them. They are good ingredients. I hope we get to draw Extus at some point in our Extus stack. That'd be swell. I think we can make this work, though. I don't think I need to really change much here. I knew what you meant, Rob. I did like the flexibility with the Archivist to start shuffling things back in. Like, we were sort of doing something, but our draws needed to be better than they were. Acceptable. Well, the Pilgrim made it look like we were more flooded than we were, but we were definitely flooded. We had, but we got a lot of them via the Pilgrim, right? Pretty good, apparently, Miklas. A little bit of a tickle in my throat. They're going to tell us now whether they have Snakeskin Veil in their deck. This pause, or in their hand rather. This pause may even be an indication that they have it. I've never particularly liked pickles. But it's okay for people who do like pickles to like them. So Flunk doesn't quite kill that, which is a shame because I'd like it to. I could gambit it into another gambit, because most of their endgame was Leyline Invocation. It's a little risky. I think it's probably the right call, though. I got to pay 2 to copy it. That was your blue splash, or your splash? Acceptable, but confusing. Still doesn't feel like they have Snakeskin Veil. I suspect I need to flunk this. Yeah, they don't have it. Can't see much reason to attack here. Well, yeah, it's still in the deck somewhere, but they do not have it right this moment. Maybe they'll shuffle it away again. I feel like we're finally beginning to get into this game. I get to use more of my mana if I chump this with the ingredient. Draw a card and then kill it with the Rise of Extus next turn. And if they kill my Killian, oh no, I guess I'll just have to wait till I draw the land, which I could draw off of this. So many removal spells. This is going swimmingly. I may not want to use Extus on it, frankly. Like, I don't know what's in their deck. But I know we're looking pretty good now. That's not nearly as good as it was last game. Yeah, this is best of 3. Because then we don't get rid of the Snakeskin Veil, and I don't want to play against the Snakeskin Veil. Anything they draw, they're going to play. Do you want to use a premium removal spell on a 2-mana 2/2? I don't. Like, we're not going to lose to a 2-mana 2/2. We're going to lose to... their deck was predominantly Leyline Invocations. We're going to lose to a 6-mana 10/10. The idea of Gambit isn't to use it when you know that your opponent's not going to get value. It's to use it on things that are going to kill you. And that you might not want to be dead. Yeah, we took so long to figure out what colors we were in. It was difficult to get started. I do like swapping an ingredient for the Stonerise Spirit here. On the Leyline, because Gambit will exile problematic cards, right? So Defend the Campus gets rid of a 6/6 token. It's not going to the graveyard anyway, who cares? The Gambit could kill a splashed Sparring Regimen. It could kill a Bookworm. It could get rid of something. It can get rid of anything like non-creatures as well as things that have to be exiled, right? We drew every removal the deck had. I don't think we drew Mage Hunter's Onslaught. But I mean, it looked like we had more than we did because we were able to reconstruct them. Still didn't draw Extus. I'm curious at, like, now we'll probably draw Extus in 2 lands and, you know, get mana screwed and lose, but this is what I get for challenging the magic gods. Divine Gambit is an incredibly powerful magic card. If the people watching my YouTube videos and my stream learn nothing else from me, it's that you should pick Divine Gambit. It's really good. See how mad they are about it? I think it was too. I'm not firing this off early, but they're telling us a story when they exile the Gambit, right? What story are they telling us? They're saying, if you Gambit one of my creatures, I don't have any permanents to put in play. I really hope you don't Gambit my creatures. So, like, what they took is still information. Which probably, well, I'm still not entirely sure that we can afford to gambit Paulo. We'll see what we draw. We may have to. Yeah, with Campus Guide, I probably don't have a choice, because this doesn't do anything. Uberdag, thank you for the resub.
You're probably doing it wrong, but how would I know?
Thank you very much, Uberdag. Appreciate the support, my friend. Y'all spam some cats for Uberdag. If they'd like to remove either of these, I'm pretty comfortable with it. We're going to need a good draw. Do not get me wrong. But we can stabilize from here. Would Reconstruct be good? It'd be okay. It'd be better if we traded off the Campus Guide first. They'd need to be incredibly aggressive to fire off this Mage Hunter's Onslaught on the Stone Rise Spirit. That's good news for us. Because we're mostly stable taking 2 a turn. We got a lot of turns to draw something here. That sadly didn't equate to much, so I think it's time to start getting in for 1 point a turn with this. It ain't great, but it's what we got. A limited based overlay. If it can pull from the client something that shows like that you're playing best of 3, think of all the questions people ask. If you could get an overlay that could show the sideboard, that'd be absurd. Although I guess the one I have does that. Afternoon, LS. But the main thing would be if it can pull that from the actual files so I don't have to input it. Because if I have to input it, I'm not going to do it. Yeah, we had a basement tenant and she moved out, so I have reclaimed the basement. A little too many lands here, my friends. A little too many lands. I was half expecting that to be a land too. We get a lot of information here, depending on whether or not they swing with the Biblioplex Assistant. It's probably too late to do anything with it. But that means they don't have a Snakeskin Veil in hand, which could make a removal smell very good for us. This doesn't allow us to drain. It could conceivably allow us to double block, which isn't great. But it may be the direction we have to go. Yeah. If they top decked it, they top decked it. Nice. Still kind of in the game. I wouldn't say very in the game, but kind of in the game. A little less in the game now. Yeah, if they could draw like 2 lands, that'd be swell. So what does having Killian in play do for us? Not bloody much. And make sure if we draw our other Killian, it's worse. I do think we're... That's pretty great. We're in a spot where we would need multiple cards to get out of it. So I think Reconstruct History is probably the best we can do there. A little bit of a floody dud there. All right, let's do our Stream Raiders battle and then see if we can salvage a 2-1 out of this, because I think that'd be swell. And let's curse these bad guys, because they're bad guys. You know they're bad guys because they oppose us. I'm not entirely convinced we're the good guys in Stream Raiders. Because we're kind of barging into people's areas and killing them and taking their things. We might just be terrible people. But nonetheless, we are victorious. Me and Rob carried the day. Rewards for Gogo, Gweetenfort, Wonton Soup, Thangarth, and Blue Meanie. All right. I want a 2-1 at least. And I would like to resolve Extus and have it be good. We've literally never seen the card. All right, I like to party. And Buttspot likes you. I'd rather do that now in case I draw another 2-drop. Because if Killian, like, it's about the same amount of damage. And I can work it in with the Pilgrim and Killian in the same turn, while still putting a significant amount of pressure on the board. Num, 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 num. I'm trying to decide versus Spectre, Chump here, exactly how we want to try to get the most damage out over time. Because I don't really realistically have a way to interact with that. I suppose Killian's about the same amount of pressure. Exodus was our next card. Good to know. I think we take the first 6, and then we can start thinking about blocks. Hey, what's up, Gokul? We take the first hit. This has gotten considerably more difficult for us. we would have to kind of luckily draw a removal spell here. Yeah, I've really got to stop shuffling the darn thing away, don't I? Yeah, I'm certainly going to do some dungeon runs. Dream Raiders Dungeons was way too much fun. I think you'll enjoy it, Toffee. If I draw a removal spell for that, they're just dead. If I draw planes, they're probably not. They're pretty darn close to it next turn, too, because they can only block one of these things, right? So they're dead if I gambit this and they don't have anything. That seems pretty good. I think they thought they had another turn. They did, narrator, they did not have another turn. They don't even know we're splashing. Reconstruct History is so good, I didn't even have to cast it. I do still like the plan of on the draw, siding out one ingredient for a spirit. Because the air power could have been useful there too. There's really nothing I can do to be better at killing big stuff on the ground. So, that kind of is what it is. Get me one too, Iggy. A vanilla latte would be divine about now. That'll do, pig. Who's that dog? Doggy, what now? Gambit is real good against permanents that your opponent has. I don't think I'll be... I think I'll have to skip that sweatsuit, because that's when I'll be out of town. I don't think we'll get to do that one. They've read me for Lash of Malice. Now they got to do something about it. Like, turn my Spectre pink. I'm still very willing to 2-for-1 myself. But yeah, in the future when we are doing Sweatsuit Invitationals again, dungeons will be great for that. That worked out okay. We've still got a lot of cards from them to try to dodge. Okay. I don't really see a compelling reason to kill either of those right now. I want to hold Defend the Campus up in case they have another Devouring Tendrils or a combat trick. If they don't have one, I will probably still fire it off end of turn. I don't think they have a removal spell or they'd have used it. They could have a talk, but that's kind of okay. Top's bad. Okay, that seems fair. I'm all about fair trade. That does not seem fair. But we need Divine Gambits, and I think we need to scry for them. Oh, I could still draw something that I could use here. But it basically needs to be bloody Divine Gambit into Divine Gambit. Which, again, we have two. It'd be swell. We can shrink it before blocks. All right, so is there anything I'd like to be back into the deck? No. Right now we're looking to only draw Divine Gambits. Okay, it's rejected. The problem is, again, shrinking it after blocks isn't really the solution you'd think it would be because they always come back. But we still need to find Divine Gambits. Multiples and or Rise of Extus, which I think means I can't scry here. Yeah, I don't think I actually can. I'd have to scry Rise of Extus to the bottom now. That's awkward. Oh, it looks like we're pretty dead. Because I needed Gambit into Gambit. I don't think this is going to work. Who's that dog? Yeah, I got a bad feeling about this. Hey, we needed that, though. That's handy. All right, quick potty break, and then we'll play the last round. Be right back. So the good news is, unless they have 3 bookworms, we have more ways to kill a bookworm than they have bookworms. But I think going on the play again, I'm more interested in the spirit. I'm less interested in the spirit, more interested in the ingredient. And you can kind of see the issue with bookworms there. You can't, like, you can chain removal spells, but you really have to exile the bugger. But we've got 2 gambits and a necrotic fumes. Like, we have the tools we need. Oh, and a Rise of Extus. So they'd have to have 4 of them to have more of them than we have these. This is our last chance to draw Extus, which would be pretty bloody funny, if you ask me. But I've always said that's a solid reason not to build your deck around 1 card. I don't think we can keep that one. Some consideration if it's a plains, but I think even then it would be too bad. This one has some of the answers we want, which is good. But I still can't do the 2-lander. This one we can try. I was pretty sure I took the Sunrise Spirit out of the deck. I certainly meant to. Did I click something else by mistake? Yeah, it sucks to have to mold a 5, but like those other 2 hands I don't think we're getting there. On the draw, they're eminently more capable. But now I think we're kind of on the do you have a removal spell for Killian train. And if you do, we might have another Killian. But if you don't, I might just win the game. I thought I clicked it, but I may not have been paying enough attention. I'm keeping the Spectre because if the Killian connects one more time, they're at 2. That's unfortunate, but gotta do what you gotta do. Now we can play both Killians. Do we do that, or do we just play out the Spectre? Yeah, I think we play the Spectre here. It's the same damage, and it could allow for Killian plus Flunk plus Guiding Voice next turn, for example. You're not my real dad. I can play both if I want to. It'd be pretty stupid, but I could do it. See, that was the line I was talking about, where we can play Killian, Guiding Voice this, and still have Flunk up. They're probably far enough away from worms that we don't stress about it right now. Just thinking about what the draws could be, Floppy. Now, best case scenario is they try to use the tendrils to get rid of Killian. He only reduces the cost of things that target a creature. Since that doesn't target a creature, he doesn't really do anything there. This kind of sucks, but it is what it is. So if you want to win, you need to first pick Extus and then literally never draw it. That is the path to victory. I drafted a Quandrix deck, but picked up a Blot Out the Sky and a Lorehold along the way. It would really surprise me if you could splash for those. You can wreck your mana base and put them in the deck, but I don't think you're ever going to resolve them. You would need to have an incredibly strong fixing regimen to be able to do that. Now, by all means, if all of your early game says learn on it, and you got 3 copies of Environmental Sciences, go for it. But I would not be willing to do that. Neither of those are splashable in a Quandrix deck. In a Quandrix deck, you could splash realistically a black card or a red card, but not a red-white one. And probably not a white-black one, would be my guess. Either way, YouTubers, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate y'all being here. Chat, say goodbye to YouTube. But don't worry, we got at least one more draft to go today. Oop. Didn't they ban Tainted Pact? Heard people saying they were going to. Either way, YouTubers, stop by the stream sometime. It's at twitch.tv/Simulan. We'll see y'all next time.